Hey guys, how you been? I've been doing good. I'm doing back-to-back videos. I'm getting prepared for a vacation coming up soon. I'm taking a cruise. What are you guys doing for spring break? Today we are going to be talking about this little scent right here. Can you see the name? Emper Luxe Rouge. There you go. Emper Luxe Rouge. I hope you can see that. Yep, this scent is by Emper. It's not one of the top houses, I think. And this is one of the ones that I got just off the cuff because I wanted to try something from a different company. Let's first talk about the bottle. This bottle is this red marble looking thing in the bottom and this really excessive looking cap. The cap is interesting looking. I don't mind it. The part where that kills me a little bit, the label is completely off center and it's crooked and kind of scratched off. So it looks like it has a production issue where just the label wasn't placed correctly. It's all a hot mess in terms of the label in the front, which makes the whole scent, the whole fragrance, the whole bottle look cheap just because that label was put on so incorrectly. But the cap is pretty decent looking. It's plastic, it's hollow, it's whatever, but that doesn't look horribly bad, right? There's a design aesthetic going on there. Let's take a sniff at this. So this scent is one of those slightly deceiving scents because it starts off, the initial spray is one way, and then by minute 15 it turns into a completely different scent. So if you were one of these people that goes to like a store to get your fragrance and you are just basing it off that initial scent, you're gonna leave very disappointed because this evolves into something completely different just immediately afterwards. This smells sweet, slightly fruity, slightly like sweet, slightly fruity with a hint of flowers. That's what you get on the initial sniff, but the prominent note is like this candy sweetness that is really nice. But that changes very quickly. By minute 15, this turns into a completely different scent with a completely different demographic. If you bought this and left the store thinking, oh, I got a sweet scent that smells like candy, you're gonna be sorely disappointed when you get home and then suddenly you realize, oh, that sweet scent turned into something else. Something very, very, very different. Something that doesn't smell anything like that. So we're gonna talk about it, but this scent is a trip. It's weird. First, let's talk about the description that this scent gives in the Emper website. It's a very simple description. According to Emper, embodying success, vitality, and charisma, Emper Luxe Rouge is a warm and powerful fragrance crafted for a charismatic individual who is full of ambition. Its mysteriously intoxicating fragrance is best suited for a rebellious heart. That that description, first it says nothing. First of all, it says absolutely nothing. Second of all, it doesn't match either of the scent profiles that this fragrance gives you. It doesn't match the sweet bubblegummy scent profile that it starts off, and it doesn't match what it turns into a little bit later on. So I don't know who that's supposed to be for, but I don't think it's for this fragrance. Let's talk about notes next. The notes are clary sage, pink pepper, tuberose for the top notes, benzoin, cashmeran, jasmine, orange blossom, ylang ylang for the middle notes, and then finally for the base notes, amber and tuberose. Before we go into the critiques and the ratings and everything, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What happens to the scent after 15 minutes? After 15 minutes, this scent changes drastically. It goes from super sweet and bubbly and young and youthful, and it literally ages right in front of your face. It goes from sweet and bubbly and bright and nice and youthful to a scent that is powdery and flowery and just honestly extremely mature. I've never seen a scent so drastically change, but not just change in scent, because we've seen that. We've seen scents evolve all the time, but it changes so much in demographic. It goes from super young to super old in terms of its demographic, from super immature leaning, casual leaning, to super sophisticated or stuffy. This turns into like a flowery, powdery, very grandmother, mother, older lady type of scent after minute 15. And the growth is impressive on how much it changes. This is like, you know, the pagan thing, maiden, mother, crone symbol? This is this scent. This is like starts maiden, middle mother, ends crone. This scent has that evolution in one scent. So if you're a witch, this would be good for that kind of like representation of that transition between maiden, mother, and crone. This scent has that whole evolution in one scent. Like it's already starting to like de-sweeten, get less sweet, and then flowers are starting to come in and take over. And that powderiness is starting to come in. And I'm not even sure where the powderiness is coming from. Like I'm looking at the notes right now. I'm guessing it's the cashmere and maybe the jasmine possibly is providing, and the tuberose is possibly all of them providing maybe subtle, soft, flowery notes that kind of give off powderiness too. It's very, very mature at the dry down. It changes so drastically. I wore this at the beginning. I was like, oh, I've worn sweet scents before. I wore it at the beginning. And then every day I wore it 3 days in a row. Every day I wore it, by the end of the day, I smelled like straight up grandma. And people would comment on it. Like, you smell straight up like a grandma. I was like, thanks, appreciate it. That's just the vibe. Start like a young femme, end straight up grandma. And that's fine. That's the vibe. In terms of the positive critiques, honestly, I couldn't find much about this scent. This scent is not on Fragrantica. It's really hard to find anything on this scent. Emper doesn't seem to be super famous online. It doesn't seem to be very well renowned like Lattafa, like Armaf, like the others. So it's hard to find a lot of stuff online. In terms of positive ratings, what I could find in terms of comments was that it's rich, it's luxurious, sure. It has good performance. It has a lot of longevity. That is true. It has good performance. It's very long lasting. It's funny. Like I always say that the less I like a fragrance, the longer it lasts. And this lasts all day and it keeps rejecting pretty strongly all day. And that's unfortunate because smelling like a grandmother really strongly is not exactly my vibe. But I smell like a grandmother and I smell really strongly like one. According to the positive critiques, people said it was pretty versatile. I guess if you're an older lady. Apparently a lot of people say it was overly sweet, which it does have a vibe of sweetness at the beginning, but that sweetness dies down into musky, powdery floweriness, and that kills the sweetness quickly. And it's honestly not very complex. It isn't, and it is. It is because it evolves so drastically. It isn't because it's not very complex in its layering, right? So it starts off sweet, and all you get is sweet. And it ends flowery, and all you get is flowery. There's no layers there, right? There's no, oh, it has a mix of different notes or whatever. You don't have that scent story there. It's just starts this, ends this. There's nothing complex there. So that's it for that. In terms of longevity and performance, like I said, in terms of projection, I think it projects pretty strongly at the beginning. I think it's like a 6-footer or 5-footer, maybe a 5-footer, 4-footer when you start, and then by hour 1 or 2, it turns into like a 1-foot bubble, turns into a skin scent maybe by hour 3 or 4, and it never really goes away from clothes, and it pretty much goes away from skin after hour maybe 5. So, but if on clothes, it stays all day. So I think in terms of projection, maybe a 8. In terms of projection, maybe an 8. In terms of longevity, maybe an 8. And in terms of scent, I give it a 6 because it's something that I did not vibe with at all. Smelling like a grandma is not my vibe. So this is not something I really, really like. I'm not giving a lot of information because there wasn't a lot online for me to like pull from and talk to you guys about. Just overall, this is something that's very strange in terms of its evolution. I would not recommend this because it changes so much. Because if you like a sweet scent, it doesn't stay sweet very long. And if you like a flowery scent, it doesn't start off flowery. So you're going to have two very different scents. And unless you like that evolution from sweet to flowery, then this doesn't really, I don't know. Do you like scents like that? I don't know. If you like scents like that go from sweet to flowery, then this is good for you. Otherwise, I don't know, pass on this. Get something else. Get something that's sweet and flowery and something that's flowery, and then you can layer it. Because this goes incredibly insane, and it's too simple to be interesting. I think this is just not great. Overall, I don't think it's a great scent. I think they also have like quality control issues. Honestly, Emper needs to get its poop together. They could do better. I think they could do better. That's my thoughts on this. What do you guys think? Have you tried Emper Luxe Rouge? Have you heard of Emper? Are there Emper scents that I should be trying out? Is this not a good representation of them? Let me know your thoughts. I really enjoy when I read your comments. I really like engaging with you guys. That's my favorite part about doing this, talking to you guys. So I would appreciate it with all my heart if you guys would comment on my videos so I can talk to you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Remember, the scents are subjective. What I like isn't necessarily what you like. You might love this, but I don't. And always remember to smell your best. See ya.